Hey guys, and welcome to the final episode of Season 1 of Settlers. This episode is set a couple of weeks after the progress made last episode, so for the final time, let's take a stroll through Skylake Village. With the village construction now complete, life in Skylake Village is going pretty much as expected. The streets are clean and well taken care of, with the local residents living on and around Main Street taking care of the general cleanliness around the village. With all the major constructions complete, villagers have had more time to dedicate to their own personal goals. Adalbern's general store, for example, has ramped up in terms of business with all the new customers, and he's currently receiving an order of supplies from a group of traders. He's even hired a new assistant for the store, Esmeralda, to handle invoices, paperwork and smaller sales. Adalbern is using this newfound free time wisely, taking valuable moments for rest and relaxation, and he's even managed to find some quiet time to fish from the pier at the rear of the store. Main Street is looking nice as always, with the town hall sitting atop the crest of the hill, watching over the village. Inside, it's taken him a bit longer than expected, but Gerard has finally finished off his speech regarding a future festival of celebration in the village, and he's delivering that speech to the residents within the hall. The speech seems to be going well so far, and I'm sure the proposition will be voted through. Along the ridge of the lake at the centre of the village, some citizens have decided to lay some stones down and sort of beautify the area a little bit, plus nobody likes traipsing mud through their home after a long day. One of the residents has also opened a small food stand between the blacksmith and the tavern, selling fish soup and elk steak. It's been gratefully welcomed in by the village and has proven to be quite popular, especially after the fishermen return home for the day. As to be expected, Gunhelm the grain miller has once again scared off his staff with his all-work and no-play ethic, and he's once more looking for anyone desperate enough to spend their days toiling away in the mill. The rest of the stores around here are doing fairly well though. Meralda's apothecary has been doing quite good. She's been able to acquire some new recipes and ingredients from the local traders that have been frequenting the town from elsewhere on the isle. Leonard the hunter has been doing very well indeed, raking in the coin with all the new residents and visitors to Skylake Village. The food vendor has also been helping him out quite a bit too. Elk steak has proven popular amongst the residents, so much that he's had to diversify his hunts and work on catching some of the more elusive animals that populate the area. The bird meat hasn't quite caught on yet, but I'm sure it will eventually. Unfortunately, Levan's carpentry workshop now sits abandoned on the edge of town. Locals have boarded up the yard and the home itself, leaving it to settle for a while. There's been no talk of demolishing or repurposing it yet, as there's still some hope that the village can attract a new carpenter. Bohran the blacksmith's search for Levan ultimately turned up very little in the way of progress. He trekked across the coasts of the island, checking the many wrecked ships and micro-caves for any sign of Levan, but alas, nothing. Bohran checked in with the fishing hall workers too, but unfortunately no foreign boats had visited, departed or been spotted, at least not during active work hours. Continuing his journey, Bohran eventually reached the long abandoned pier to the south side of the island. This area has been around much longer than the village itself, and whilst it mostly sits in ruins, there are indeed a couple of clues. In the eroded remnants of the shipping office, through a small crack in the wall to what used to be a filing room, the remains of another small camp lay in wait. There's a single bedroll, a burnt-out campfire, and a note written in a strange language that Bohran unfortunately couldn't decode. The dock itself might be damaged, but it could theoretically be used, and now Levan could be anywhere in the world. For Bohran, all hope seemed lost, and he turned back and headed home, downtrodden that he couldn't find his friend. However, miles away from home, in the Ashlands, lays a black corsair camp named the Spit. On the dock sits their flagship, the Orruk, managed by a few of the corsairs and stocked with cages on the deck. Amongst the thick black smog of the area, just past the docks, lay some cages. These hold the barely living bodies of many people captured by the Corsairs. Most will be sold as slaves, but one in particular has proven to be more useful. Levan the carpenter, missing an eye and a foot from his ordeal, has been enslaved within the spit. He's definitely looking and feeling worse for wear. The bear trap took his foot and the dagger of a Corsair his eye, but nevertheless, he's still being forced to produce weapons, tools and building materials for the Corsairs. Miles away from his own home, broken and enslaved, Levan the carpenter has no hope of being saved. He can only hope that some horrid disease like the Bane sweeps across the land soon, otherwise he may spend years in this horrid camp. However, back across the seas, life goes on as normal in Skylake Village. With its increase in production and availability of natural resources, it is sure to become a bastion of trade and commerce across the Isle of Siptar. Of course, as it grows in stature and reputation, not only does it become that bastion, but it could become a target too. Only time will really tell what the future holds for Skylake Village, but even without their carpenter, the village is surely destined for great things. I hope you've all enjoyed the journey of Skylake Village from its inception to its completion. It's been a pretty fun project to undertake and, hopefully, Season 2 will be upon us soon enough.